Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I was surfing the web and I ran across an article about this sister named Karyn Washington that was the founder of this website called For Brown Girls. And basically what the website was about and what her whole motive was to basically fight against this whole light skin, dark skin thing and playing into white supremacy, and basically trying to encourage those women of all ethnicities and complexions, but more or less for the women that are brown skin or dark skin, for them to feel beautiful about themselves and for them to have confidence and for them to not feel inferior because they have a dark complexion. And I read that she recently committed suicide, and it kind of threw me back for a minute, because here we have somebody 22 years old, and really trying to make an impact like that. And she had a lot of different endeavors. She had something called the Darkskin Red Lipstick Project, which was fighting the stigma of black women that have darker complexions don't look good with fire red lipstick. So she basically was fighting that stereotype and basically saying, you know what, we do look beautiful with fire red lipstick and we can wear this. So she really was, at a young age, speaking truth to power, really out here trying to put a positive message out here. And people like this you don't hear about too much. You hear about like just for the example, Chief Keef cousin just got shot. You hear about that, or people cutting up in the streets, or somebody ignorant on World Star Hip Hop. But those who are young that are out here doing it, trying to create change and being positive, you don't hear about it too much. But I was kind of sad when I found out that she committed suicide, and they said that she had early depression, with the loss of her mother, and I can understand that. I lost a grandmother in 2008. I was really close to my grandmother, so I know how that is to lose someone really close to you that you love and you care about. But even sometimes the strong people that we see around us, we do have to ask them, are you okay? Because just looking at myself, an example, I'm a very strong individual. Not too much stuff rattles my cage, but it is nice for somebody to come around and say, hey, how are you doing? Is anything bothering you? Because sometimes those who we view as being strong or we don't really have to worry about, sometimes you do have to worry about them. We have to be concerned about everybody, and those that we love and we care about, because sometimes those people won't come out and always voice everything because they have to be the strong one. They have to not show any fear or any sign of depression, because they don't want to bring everybody else down, that surround them, and bring their whole aura, what they're trying to do, down. So it is important for us to be concerned about people in our lives that we love and we care about. But it's sad, and like I said, they did say she suffered from depression, and I know how that is. I don't really get too deep into my personal business here on YouTube, but it was a time, I remember when I was a teenager, I was going through a lot in my life. I mean, a lot. And I dealt with depression for a minute, and trying to figure out where I was going to go in my life, because I had so much personal issues going on, at home and just within my life and my living conditions. And I really had to stand strong. I really had to fight through that time in my life, because it was a very depressing time in my life. And I use that now as a strong piece, because I look at if I was able to come out of that and make things happen, then now it's a piece of cake. And a lot of people look at me and like, damn man, I remember you didn't have this, you didn't have that, and look at you now, you got this, and you made this opportunity for yourself. You really came from the bottom. And I appreciate that from everybody, but a lot of times people don't know what that took, and all the hurt and the sacrifice and the pain and the depression and everything you go through to get to where you want to be in life. But I just want to share this as just a message for be concerned about those that you love around you, because everybody that looks well or seems like they're okay, it's not always the case. You know, and if you're going through something, whether it's depression, whether it's you know, a financial situation right now, whether you're trying to, you know, get through school, or you just trying to boss your life up in any type of way, you know, you have to stay focused, you have to stay grounded, and you have to have somebody that you can talk to. You know, even if it's somebody that, you know, you don't really know too well, but they care enough to just sit down and listen and give you advice. You know, I think everybody needs somebody they can talk to. Everybody needs somebody that they can trust in their life. But, you know, rest in peace to this sister. It's a sad situation, but, you know, we really have to stop this whole light skin, dark skin thing out here. And, you know, for those who have common sense and those who care about the progression of the black community, you need to separate yourself from those who indulge in this whole light skin, dark skin thing. And I see videos out here of not just brothers but sisters out here too playing to this whole dark skin, light skin thing. And you guys don't understand that you are contributing to white supremacy. You are basically condoning the Willie Lynch syndrome. So, you know, I would just separate myself from people like that, because I grew up with people that was into that whole light skin, dark skin thing, or prejudge a woman or a man because of the color of their skin, now realizing that they're black themselves. And I had to get away from, because what that does is that it shows somewhat of who you are when you continue to associate with people of that ignorance. But that's all I gotta say. You guys stay peaceful out there. Stay positive. I'm out. Peace.